we are streaming live, and I will email the link as well as when the meeting starts, I can screen share and show where it is in Board Docs if you'd like.
I mean, that's probably a good idea, I think. I mean, it can't hurt, right?
More Mary, I was wondering about that. So I'll email it to you and Melinda. Maybe you can send it to whoever needs to get it. Okay, hold on.
Hi, Debbie, is that?
Good afternoon. I can't hear either one of you.
Oh, no. Huh. I mean, the only thing, maybe try to get out and get back in. I don't know.
I'm having this problem again where I can't hear them. No, they're talking to each other and I can't hear a damn thing. Yeah. Make sure your computer is not on mute. My computer's definitely not on mute. No. Yeah, the volume's all the way up. This is streaming live on YouTube. All right, yeah, drop down area next to the mic, select a different speaker. So, oh, maybe Realtek?
We'll keep talking.
Oh, wait, speaker. Do I select a different microphone or a speaker?
Try both. I don't know.
Okay, then change it to same as system.
Yeah, try that.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you. All right. So, yeah. So the only choices I have are the Realtek speaker and the same as system speaker. No. Yeah. All right, it says test speaker. So I'm going to do that. Nope, I don't hear that. Now I'm going to test a different speaker. I don't hear that either. It's definitely not muted. Yeah, it's built into my computer.
Maybe we should talk and say. Oh wait, did she drop off? Oh no, you're there. You're there. Oh, in the meantime, I need to send the email. Hold on.
That in front of me. Which, no, I'm working on that. I'll have it done by, once I'm done with this, it'll be done by tonight. I mean, the next depot is Wednesday. Yeah. I've been working on it all day.
I mean, sometimes just getting off and logging back in, that sounds silly too,
Yeah.
but sometimes it does.
Works, right? Yeah, it might.
Because it looks like On my microphone thing, it's the first thing that's checked, microphone array. And on the speaker, it's the first speaker's real tech checked.
What's going on here? Oh. Audio. Yeah, she says it's not on mute, so because I do that where it's unmuted on the
Yeah.
Zoom, but muted, your computer is muted, so I don't know.
Hello.
Hello and good afternoon.
Okay, so you can hear me. Lori, hi. I'm
Hi,
Wendy.
how are you? I can hear you.
So I don't know what's going on with Debbie. Like, I'm not sure why her sound isn't coming through.
Yeah.
But she's been on. So what I'm gonna, this is just a quick one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you do this? Can you just record this?
Oh, sorry. Am I mic? No.
Somebody's echoing. Oh,
Oh,
is
yeah.
that-
Pick the YouTube.
me, Debbie.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang up the phone.
All right, so am I. All right, I'm sorry, I forgot we were on the phone together. So can you hit record? I just don't know what else, why she can't hear. And this happened to her the other day, so we're going to figure out what the issue is. Why she can't hear, but we'll do that. But if you can just hit record, since this is a quick thing, and then if you send me the recording, then she'll do it.
Yeah, there is a link on YouTube as well. Since it's an open meet session now, I am streaming it live to YouTube as a way of making it public.
Okay.
But I can hit record as well. So whatever's easier, hold on.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah. And then when it's done, if you could just email me the link of the video, and then we'll get Debbie to do it. And I apologize, but we'll figure it out what's going on and we'll take care of it.
Okay.
All right.
Melinda and Mr. Messias, who just joined, we're having some technical issues with the court reporter. But so given that this hopefully will be relatively quick, the one solution we have is that we can record this and then A+ can take the recording and do a transcript, because I'm not sure we're going to be able to figure this out right now. So I hope that is acceptable to everyone.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate the explanation.
I
I'm used to it.
apologize.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out though, I promise. So it won't
Thank
happen
you.
again.
I appreciate it. And for, if it had to happen, it's good that it happened on this one.
On a quick
So
one.
I think,
Right.
you know,
Okay, all right, thank you.
thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
If you want, you can forward her the YouTube link now because it's that same link, and she could either live stream it or watch it after.
Thank you, Christina.
I am checking with the board members to see where they are. There's a waiting room. I wonder if they still have the old link. Oh, no, there she is. Okay. Attorney Kaufman, are we only waiting on the other two board members and then everyone's here? Or are we also missing? Okay, let me make sure that they have it. But we have Miss Board Member Escribano with us, so.
Christina, when I try to log in, it took me to Microsoft Teams, so I don't know if the other board members are having that issue.
Okay, let me send it again just so they have.
Yeah, I was waiting in Teams to say I'll let you in, and that's why until you text me, it's like, oh, it's probably a Zoom.
I've noticed that it automatically adds the teams on these calendar invites lately.
Yeah, I clicked on the link, on the subject, and it took me to Teams.
Okay, let me double check.
So I'm not sure if they are having the same issue.
Yeah, I have learned to take off the team meeting because that has been a problem in the past. People get confused thinking it's on Teams instead of the Zoom link. But you can delete that, take out the team. The team automatically comes up, but you can manually take it off.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you here too, Carol.
Hi, Abraham.
moment, I sent them a few messages and they should be joining us shortly. They do have it on their calendars and are aware.
I see Phil just joined.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Are we waiting for anyone?
AJ.
Just AJ, yeah. He's not responding to my text.
Let me try giving him a call.
Greetings, my apologies.
No problem there, Pastor Johnson. Lori, Christina, do we have everyone here?
I believe we have everyone here.
Okay. I call to order the May 9th Human Resource Committee meeting. Lori, I guess I'll turn it over to you to kind of walk us through
Sure.
next steps here.
That works. So I'm Lori Mazarek, and my role in this capacity is I will be sitting with the subcommittee here today as their counsel in this non-renewal matter. And so this first meeting today is to open the non-renewal hearing and to introduce ourselves, go through some proposed procedures for the proceedings, and then really to identify some dates, a date or future dates, at which point we can have more of the evidentiary portion of the hearings. So I think it would be helpful just for everyone to introduce themselves. I did just want to confirm before going forward, normally these matters can be held in executive session unless the teacher requests that the matters be public. And in this case, I did receive a request that the matter be public, and I just wanted to ensure that that is still Mr. Masias's intent to have this be public. And I'm seeing a thumbs up from Mr. Masias.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, great, thank you. So again, my name is Lori Mazarek, and then maybe Mr. Masias, can you introduce yourself and then identify the next person to introduce themselves?
I am Mr. Macias, Abraham Macias.
And then
Nice to meet you all. Thank you for your time.
next in my screen is Melinda Kaufman.
Hi, I'm Melinda Kaufman, and I am the attorney for the administration for this non-renewal hearing.
And I'm going to go a different direction. I see Christina Santiago. If you could just briefly introduce yourself.
Yep, I'm Christina Santiago, and I am the board liaison for the Hartford Public Schools.
Okay. And next I see Mario Carullo.
Good afternoon, Mario Carullo, Director of Math at Hartford Public Schools.
Thank you. And next I see Mr. Ed Wilson Jr.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Edward Wilson Jr. I'm a staff attorney for Harvard Public Schools.
And next I see Natasha Banks.
Good afternoon. I apologize. I'm in transition, so you can't see my face, but it's Senior Executive Director of Human Resources, and it's nice to see everyone.
And next, Ms. Gale.
I'm Carol Gale, President of the Harvard Federation of Teachers, and here representing Mr. Macias.
Thank you. And next, Ms. Escribano.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jahira Scribano. I am a board member and leadership team. I am the secretary.
Thank you. And next, Ms. Webley.
Hello, everyone. This is Tiffany Webley, principal here at Weaver High School.
And next, Mr. Regur.
Good afternoon, everyone. Philip Regur, Chair, Board of Ed. Thank you.
And finally, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, AJ Johnson, first vice chair of the Harvard Board of Education.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. So I just wanted to now just read into the record some procedures that I think would be appropriate to utilize as we go forward through this process. And I did just want to note for those of you who joined a little later on the call, we normally have a court reporter transcribing this, and the court reporter did join. She was having some issues hearing us. So what we thought we needed to do, because those issues were not getting remedied, before this could start, we're recording this, and the recording, it's also being live streamed, and the recording will be sent to our court reporter and she will transcribe this. But normally, and for all of the other proceedings, we will have the court reporter here, and hopefully those technical issues will be solved. Okay. So this is a hearing that will be held before a subcommittee of the Board of Education, and your members for this committee are Ms. Escribano, Mr. Regur, who's the chair, and Mr. A.J. Johnson. As I mentioned before, I'll be serving as the legal advisor to the committee. And what that really means is I'll be sitting with the committee to advise them if questions come up about procedure, the law, including issues around evidence, additional time, continuance. I'll be helping the subcommittee through those questions. This has been requested to be in public. So these proceedings will take place in public. At our next meeting, I will probably just ask Mr. Macias to confirm again that he wants that to continue to be the case, just so we're all on the same page going forward. The evidentiary of the portion, as I mentioned, of the committee will be recorded. We'll have a court reporter here and it will be transcribed. So we have a transcript. With respect to evidence, the rules of evidence really don't apply in these types of proceedings. During the hearing, each side will have the opportunity to make openings and closing statements, as well as present witnesses to testify on direct and cross-examination. Each party will also be allowed to enter documentary evidence relevant to the proceedings. The parties will have the right, though, to object to the introduction of various evidence, both documentary and testimonial, and to request any additional time that they might need to complete their presentation. The subcommittee may also request that either party present individuals as witnesses. The administration in this case will present the evidence first concerning the reasons for the non-renewal, followed by the teacher's advocate. The only issue that is relevant in these proceedings and that should be addressed by either side is whether the superintendent's decision to non-renew was arbitrary and capricious. After the portion of the testimony and documentary evidence piece of this committee, we can discuss whether the parties wish to submit briefs to summarize their positions for the subcommittee to consider in making its decision. After the completion of the evidentiary portion of the proceedings, the subcommittee will submit written findings and a recommendation to the Board of Education as a whole for its consideration. The findings, again, should address whether the subcommittee believes that the superintendent's decision to non-renew was arbitrary and capricious. The recommendation should address the question of whether the Board of Education should uphold or rescind the decision of the superintendent not to renew the teacher's employment. Once the Board of Education receives the subcommittee's findings and recommendations, the Board of Education as a whole is required to make a final decision whether to uphold or rescind the superintendent's decision not to renew the teacher's employment. In this regard, the Board of Education will again address only the question of whether the superintendent's decision not to renew the teacher's employment was arbitrary and capricious. So I just want to pause at this point, and as the legal advisor to the subcommittee, I would recommend and suggest that the subcommittee adopt these proposed procedures, just so we're all on the same page moving forward in this process.
Lori, thank you for that. Does that require a vote, or how should we handle this?
I think you should make a motion to adopt the procedures and just do a formal vote.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. With that being said, is there a motion to adopt the procedures as Lori Mizik had just corresponded to us?
So move on the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in
Just
favor?
a point of order here, just out of curiosity, because I want to understand the process. Is that a question that is going only before the committee of the 3 Board of Ed members? Or is that for the entire panel who are on this call?
So that is a question for the committee to vote on the procedures. If you would like to raise comments or have questions, certainly, Ms. Gale, you can do so. And I would entertain those, and we should entertain those.
No questions. I just wanted to understand procedure. Thank you.
Sure.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Abstentions? The ayes have it.
Okay. So we will use those procedures going forward in our next days for the hearing. At this point, I think it would be helpful to discuss some dates for future hearings. Although we don't have a court reporter, I'm going to say we'll go off the record so that she knows she does not have to transcribe our discussion here on our dates. So I'm going to ask the parties what you're thinking as far as timelines for when you'd like the next dates to be.
Attorney Mazak, just a point of order. Are we looking for evenings, daytime? What are we looking for?
That's a good question, and I think we should discuss that. So I'm not sure what the parties' preferences are, as well as the subcommittee too. If there are issues, we should talk about those now.
Yeah, I would defer to the subcommittee.
Okay, and I guess the one question we could ask is, as we proceed forward, I know today we're doing a remote hearing, right? But as we proceed forward in dealing with the dates where we have testimony and evidence, is the preference that we do that in person or remotely? Ms. Gale, I see you nodding your head.
Our preference is to do it in person.
And Ms. Kaufman.
I'm fine either way. So if the union's requesting in person, I think we should do it in person.
Okay. All right. And so that may help a little bit with the subcommittee now and their availability. So we would be looking to do this in person.
Just a recommendation, since this will be in person, I think, at least from my perspective, there's probably only really 2 options, one being lunchtime and the other being after business hours or somewhere around this time. So let's call it maybe 4:30. And then the question becomes is how soon can we meet? So Pastor Johnson, I'm not sure if you have your calendar out, but maybe we could just old-fashioned way, maybe pick some dates and see if it works with folks.
And if I may, we're probably looking to the mid-June range at this point, just with calendars and other matters that are going on for the board, for the administration.
Okay, so with that being said, how does June 13th at, let's call it 4?
That works for me.
Question, how
Yeah.
long a meeting are we looking for on these dates? You know, are we talking about a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour meeting that we are trying to fit in? Because that makes a difference. I have 1 hour on the 13th, but I can't go longer than that.
Sure. So, I think in the past, we've gone a few hours with the goal of trying to see, can we get it done in one meeting, or, are we going to have to break it up into multiple dates? So it probably would be helpful to set aside at least a 3-hour period of time, I would think. I don't know if that sounds reasonable to Ms. Gale and Ms. Kaufman.
Yeah, from my point of view, we're probably looking at least 3 to 4 hours if we want to get this done in one day, which would be the preference, to not have to bring everyone back.
Okay.
So
Or
what- so
we
what
could,
did-
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so would it be better just to consider this, like a early Saturday morning from like 9 until like 12, 1, something like that? Because so for me, I'm just gonna put my obstacles on the table. I have young kids, they're home at 4:30, and it's just focusing. If we do it on a Saturday, I can kind of put them out, and I'd rather just take the whole morning and just knock this out if possible, and then move on as a suggestion.
What do folks think about Saturday?
Depends on the Saturday. It's a tough time of year, May and June. Lots on the calendar. But we can, let's look at some other dates, evenings or Saturdays, and just see, and I think we should be flexible to, if we can't find one 3 to 4 hour block, that maybe 2 2-hour blocks maybe a consideration as well.
Yeah,
So-
the one thing I would mention on Saturdays is some of your witnesses are going to be school employees that do not normally work on Saturdays, that could create some issues.
They don't work after hours either, so that's going to be an issue either evenings or Saturdays if we're not doing it during the school day.
So let me pose this a different way. What are the constraints that we have right now as it relates to scheduling? Like, just let's list them all out, and then from there we could figure out where to land or approach. So I'm hearing Saturdays is a no-go, and after hours is a no-go. Is that correct?
I mean, we typically do them in the evening. That hasn't been an issue in the past.
Yeah, that's been my recollection as well. We would try to start perhaps 4 o'clock, go a few hours.
Okay, so I'm hearing then the only scheduling constraints is the weekends. Is that fair?
Possibly. I think we have to throw out dates. Like, let's just start looking at some dates. The 13th does not work. That was the first date that was put out there.
I would agree, but I think just knowing the constraints will help us throw out dates. So I just want to make sure that we're aligned with the scheduling constraints. I'm hearing that no Saturdays is the only constraints, correct?
Well, I'm still okay with Saturdays. We just might get less teachers.
Okay. All right. So the 13th does not work. How about the 14th? The 14th.
And that works for me. I'll defer to the 4 people I have on here. that are
Yeah.
school employees.
I'm sorry.
I'm okay.
That's my birthday. I was gonna give you the 13th, but I can't give you the 14th.
How about the 15th?
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot do the 15th.
16th? Oh, actually, sorry, I can't do, well, actually, yes, the 16th, sorry, go ahead. 16th?
If we're talking about after hours, it's okay. That's Weaver's graduation.
Yeah, 'cause there's a few graduations that day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
adult-
read
it's
Jason.
adult ed, but-
And adult ed as well. Yeah.
Graduation. Does the 16th work?
It works for me. Sounds like it works for my witnesses that are on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
adult ed's graduation, just heads up.
Yeah.
Works for me too.
I could probably make it work. I mean, I have so many meetings at the 4 to 7 range. That's when unions do their business. But if we're talking like a 4 o'clock or 4:30 that day.
4
Certainly
o'clock.
starting at 4 would be preferable if that's doable.
I think a 4 o'clock is doable.
Okay.
Does 4 o'clock? Does that sound good for
Yeah.
everyone?
That works. Ms. Gale, would it make sense for you to push this into like the last week of June? I don't know if your schedule gets easier then.
Not really.
Okay.
No.
In that case, never mind.
So it's just a matter of picking a day. So let's do the 16th, and then I would suggest we pick at least one other date in case we need more time,
Okay.
or in case there's anything that happens that means we need to go another day.
How about the 17th, Friday? Once again, 4 o'clock.
That's gonna be hard for me.
Okay, the 20th?
Mr. Regum, the week of the 20th, I can't do. I'm having a medical procedure.
The entire week?
Yeah, I probably will be out a good portion.
I'll reschedule what I have to. It's okay. If it works for everyone, we'll do the 17th just so we can, the sooner the better, I think.
I cannot do the 17th.
Okay.
We could probably work around that though, since he's a witness.
Well, how about, I'm sorry, what about the week of June 6th? Could we move it up a week? We didn't look at that week. How does June 6th?
I am fairly booked solid that week.
Okay, so June 6th is,
Yeah, that's not a good week for me either.
okay. And we said the 27th is not. So
I can do
27th.
I can do the 27th.
Okay,
I am not available the last week of June.
okay.
Me as well.
So if I'm hearing correctly, and when do we have to, what's our cutoff date here?
I think we want to get this done, as early as we can in the summer, only because, once we finish the hearing, you'll need some time to make your decision. And I believe the goal is always to try to get it done before the new school year starts. And I think that's how we've handled it in the past.
Understood. I guess I'm asking, what's the firm date? Like, what's the drop dead date here?
I mean, if I could, Attorney Mazarek, working backwards, you'd want to have this on your agenda for your August board meeting. And you'd want to give some time for briefs. So you're probably looking mid-July when you want to have this finished.
Ms. Kaufman, you said the 17th, you can work around your possible witness. Did you?
Correct.
Okay, so the 17th could be possible as long as you work around with your witness.
Correct. Since we have the 16th, I'll just make sure the one individual that's not available is, if he's going to be testifying, will testify on that day, on the 16th.
So would the 17th work for everyone then, given that Ms. Kaufman can rework her witness?
I
looks
could do
like
the
it, yeah.
17th.
Okay,
So the 17th would be a plan B? Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah,
Okay.
Okay, so we're talking June 16th and 17th at 4 o'clock, and how much time are we blocking out?
3
or
hours?
4 hours?
So I heard a little different, or let me rephrase that. June 16th for 3 hours,
Okay,
and if needed, we have June 17th.
okay, and are we blocking out 3 hours again on June 17th?
I think that probably will be wise, yeah.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Is everyone in agreement? Okay. And that's a 4 p.m. start time.
and it's in person. Where will we be meeting at?
Good question.
Oh, I think if available, the Board of Ed conference room would be the best place at central office, just because I think it's a large enough space. And we can certainly accommodate the witnesses, and there's also space outside of that if people need to chat before the hearing or during the hearing, whatever the case may be.
Sounds good. Question, if this is an open public meeting at the conference room, does that mean people are invited to come and attend at the conference room?
That would mean, right, if we were in person, that to the extent that members of the public wish to attend, they would be there as well.
Yeah, if I may, if I'm not overstepping, it might be helpful to know if anybody's being invited from the public, how many people you expect, which might depend on where we hold it, because obviously depending on how many people are expected to attend, we might need to talk about a different venue.
I'm glad you bring it up. That's one of my questions. Who can I invite? I do expect to invite the teachers at the school.
If it's an open meeting, you can invite anybody. There's a difference between who is invited to watch and who is being called in as a witness.
Mhm. So I would have to bring my own witnesses then?
Yeah, that's what we will discuss and prepare for our side, yes.
Can I ask a question to the group? Is there any downside if we were to use the auditorium at Weaver?
Well,
Those are my thoughts.
the tricky thing with that, I think might be with respect to, figuring out how to place witnesses and, the space, because it's certainly great and set up for a meeting where, we have presenters coming before the board and the board is voting on something. But this is a little different in the sense that, there will be individual people who will be called to testify, and there'll be sharing of documents. And I think the conference room is just better set up for that. But that's a good question, Phil. And and as Ms. Kaufman indicated, if we're getting the sense that it's going to be a much larger group of people, then we will have to think about other spaces.
There's Christina, you may know this. There was I think it was at Weaver. There was a conference room that was kind of like a lecture hall of sorts.
And I'm sure Principal Webley knows exactly what you're talking about. On the third floor, I believe. There could be another space. Because I was going to say there might be graduations at Weaver, even if it's not Weaver's graduation. I know some are using their space, auditorium. So we can look into that room depending on how many.
If I may, I think we don't need to decide this today. The committee can decide this and let the parties know.
I would just add to second Lori's comment that I'm not sure an auditorium is the best type of room for this, but the SMSA has a room that is slightly larger than, it's not as big as an auditorium, but the board has met there. That might be another one to consider. And again, I know there's a lot of things happening in schools that week, so.
Okay. Laura,
There's a comment in the chat, Phil.
I also had a question too that would determine how many people I'm inviting. I requested to see my personnel file. But this paper that I signed says it would be in there, but it's not in there. So I don't know if I just requested the documentation that would be used.
If I may, I don't think this is appropriate for this hearing. That's something that we can address.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We
I'll
can
let Ms.
address
Gale
that.
speak for me.
We can address that offline for sure. I think at this point, we have the two dates that we're reserving for this matter, the June 16th and the 17th.
Yep.
And
Christina,
maybe
will
for moving forward, we could just, get back to you on how many people we might anticipate coming to see if that's going to meet the capacity of the conference room, and if not, whether you need to look for another space. How about if we do that as a procedure going forward?
That would be helpful, I think.
We'll do that. Thank you.
Okay. Chairman Ricker, are you okay to move forward at this point?
I am. Yep.
Okay, great. So we'll go back on the record, and we've just identified two dates for going forward, June 16th and June 17th at 4 p.m. We're going to reserve 3 hours on both dates. Hopefully we can finish on the first date, but if not, we have the 17th. At this point, we'll be meeting at central office in their conference room, but Ms. Gale has indicated that, she will get back to us if it with, an estimate around how many people she believes will be in attendance or that were invited, and that may cause us to rethink about a new location. I will send out a letter to everyone just confirming those dates so y'all have it. And other than that, is there anything else that anyone thinks we need to discuss before finishing? We all good?
I think we're good.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for that. Seeing no questions or comments, I will call this meeting to adjournment.
Great.
Thank you, everyone, and
Thank you.
see you on the 16th.
Thank you.